All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the wild history of the only cough medicine that managed to become a global disaster. And yeah, it all started with Bayer, the company that makes your aspirin.
I mean, it's a crazy thought, right? But for a very brief, shining moment in history, the world's most infamous drug was just sitting on a shelf, sold right over the counter, and everyone thought it was a miracle of modern science.
Okay, let's travel back. Picture this. It's 1898. You walk into a pharmacy. The air smells like chemicals and just pure optimism. Glass bottles are gleaming everywhere. This was the moment when what everyone believed was a modern miracle was born.
So the thing that just blows my mind here is how fast this all happened. We're talking 2 years? It went from some experiment in a lab to a product being shipped all over the world, with doctors everywhere singing its praises. People were just ready for it. They wanted a quick fix.
You kind of have to laugh at the confidence, right? I mean, it was so wrong. But this was the actual marketing. Absolutely safe. No hint of addiction. And you can just imagine the pharmacist sliding a bottle over saying, "It's science." And for a while, everybody believed it.
And check this out. This shows you just how far they went with the marketing. This wasn't just a cough syrup. Oh, no. They were selling it as a cure for everything. Got a cold? Heroin. Menstrual cramps? Heroin. Feeling a little nervous? Heroin. Got a cranky kid? Believe it or not, heroin. It was the original cure-all.
So this kicks off what we could call its golden age, a time when this stuff wasn't just medicine. It was literally everywhere, a part of the culture. Seriously, try to imagine this. A bottle of heroin syrup was as normal in a medicine cabinet as a bottle of Tylenol is for us. People were using it to get through the day, to calm their nerves before a big presentation, and yeah, parents were giving it to their kids so they'd finally go to sleep. It was just normal.
And get this is a real ad, a real testimonial. I gave it to my toddler. It's horrifying to us now, but back then, it was just seen as being a good modern parent. That's how deeply embedded this was in society. Nobody suspected a thing.
And it wasn't just for home life. The drug found its way into the creative world, too. Think about the smoky jazz clubs of the era. Some musicians swore that a little spoonful of this cough syrup was the secret to their best work. It was their key to just letting go and getting creative.
But you know how these stories go. The good times couldn't last forever. And this is where the story takes a really dark turn. The first little cracks started to show, and people began to realize this miracle cure wasn't a miracle at all.
So people started asking themselves, wait a minute, is this stuff really a medical marvel, or is something wrong here? It started small, The neighbors seems a little too eager for their next bottle. People are nodding off at the dinner table. Little things that just made you go,
And here's how it happened. It was a really slow, sneaky process. It always started innocently enough. Someone takes it for a real cough. But then they needed more to get the same relief. Pretty soon, doctors are seeing the same people coming back, making up symptoms, inventing new aches, anything to get another prescription. That non-addictive cure, it was creating a craving that took over everything.
And then came the truly terrifying part, withdrawal. When people tried to quit, their bodies basically went into shock. We're talking shivering, sweating, this intense restlessness. You have to remember, this was a brand new concept. Nobody, not the doctors, not the patients, had seen anything like it. The miracle cure had a hidden cost, and it was brutal.
So, as you can imagine, once this came out, everything changed. And it changed fast. The public perception did a complete 180. Heroin went from being this beloved medicine to public enemy number one. And this just shows you the insane whiplash. Look at this. In the 1900s, it's a miracle cure. Just 10 years later, it's a public menace. Journals that were celebrating it were now screaming warnings. The symbol of modern science became a symbol of total moral collapse. I mean, it happened practically overnight.
And, of course, the media just ran with it. You started seeing these frantic headlines everywhere, stoking a full-blown moral panic. And what's funny is how quickly everyone who loved it a few years earlier suddenly pretended they'd never even touched the stuff. Total collective amnesia. And in 1912, it all became official. That's the year the government finally stepped in and started passing laws to clamp down on it. And just like that, the world's favorite cough syrup was now illegal.
But here's the thing. Making it a crime didn't make it go away. It never does, right? All it did was push the whole operation underground. It created this whole new dangerous, but kind of romanticized black market.
So you go from a bright, clean pharmacy to a dark, smoky speakeasy. Instead of talking to a doctor, you're whispering a password to some guy at a back door. It was basically prohibition, but for medicine.
And this really spells out the drug's whole new personality. I mean, everything flipped. It wasn't sold by pharmacists anymore, it was sold by dealers. You weren't taking it with a spoon, you were using a syringe. It became associated with crime, with rebellion. And Hollywood both loved and hated it, putting it on the big screen.
Okay, so let's fast forward. That brings us to today. After 100 years of basically just condemning it, the way we talk about heroin and addiction is finally starting to evolve.
What's so important here is the huge shift in thinking. The old way was all about punishment and shame, using awful words like junkie or fiend. The new approach, the one we're moving towards now, is about treating it like a public health issue. It's about compassion. The goal isn't just to wipe it out, it's harm reduction, keeping people alive.
And these are the real-world tools that come with that new mindset. So instead of just throwing people in prison, we have strategies that are actually proven to work. Things like needle exchange programs, safe consumption spaces, and making sure naloxone, you probably know it as Narcan, is everywhere. It's all about treating addiction as a health crisis, which it is, not some kind of character flaw.
So, when you boil it all down, this whole story isn't just about one drug. It's really about us. It's about our very human, timeless search for a quick fix, for that miracle cure in a bottle. Sure, Bayer's colossal mistake was over 100 years ago, but are we really that different now? Always looking for that next easy solution? It's definitely something to think about.